Okay, so this is a viewer submission. So this is card for card, something someone sent in sans I adjusted the mana base a little bit. One thing I am concerned about, so the core of this deck is the Greasefang Obakai, bring back Parhelion and Skysovereign up here at the top end. So one thing I'm a little worried about with this particular deck is I think there's a good chance this deck is over toolboxed looking at it. Like, there's so many one-ofs in this deck, and like, we're gonna end up drawing a lot of these one-ofs in a lot of games. I'm also a little concerned about our ability to interface with Graveyard Hate consistently. In fact, I think one change I'm going to make here to start is I'm going to cut these Abrades for rip-aparts. Because I think having an answer to Rest in Peace seems pretty important, and Rip-Apart does that cleanly. Engineer bins Parhelion, sure, and then Engineer and Oswald tutor Greasefang through Wishclaw. Engineer can infinitely tutor with Wishclaw. You activate and then sack it. Sure. So you can put this trigger on the stack and then sack it to Engineer before you pass it off. So we do have a way to get to this, but that's really kind of slow and clunky. So I feel like I'm expecting this deck to be reasonable into the control decks that aren't really pressuring us in the format, but I'm interested to see if we run into other aggressive decks, if those run us down or not. Yeah, one thing this build is notably doing is it's not just playing a full set of Parhelions. It's trying to like toolbox and be cute about things. So I'm interested to see if all of these toolboxes and tutor packages feel worthwhile, or if they end up just feeling a little bit too clunky with the awkward one-ofs that we're gonna draw. One thing specifically that feels a little strange in this list is Faithless Looting is a card that I'd be interested to see if it feels good or not, because we don't have a bunch of Parhelions to be discarding to it, right? So if we're gonna be tutoring for it a lot of time, I'm curious to see if the card disadvantage that Faithless Looting is responsible for is good or bad. This build, we played an Esper build. I was playing a bunch of Helions. All right. So I'm gonna keep this, but I'm pretty sure this is like we don't actually Faithless Looting on one, because I kind of don't have anything I'm looking to discard, and my hand's not really looking to solve any problems here, right? Basic Mountain Go. I'm gonna keep Portable Hole. Worst case, if it doesn't do anything, we can fiddle bend it down the line. Hey, Ashton, thanks for the entire year of support. Welcome back. Appreciate it. I think playing Fiddlebender into turn 3 Torch of Defiance is wrong, so I'm gonna go ahead and take their Cold Steel Heart and slow them down and see if they stumble. This card's really good with Fiddlebender. It's good with Engineer too, I suppose. Okay, opponent's deck is kind of mopey, so we like Synthesizer, sack Synthesizer, get Wishclaw, play Goblin Engineer, I think. I just play Smith now. Bill's Magic Man. I don't really have opinions on cards that aren't coming to Magic Arena.
I have faced worse than the likes of you. I am not frightened by you.
Are we dead? I think we're dead, Shep. My combo deck has been interacted with, and I believe we have lost the game. Because we can't crew the vehicles, right? While Karn's out. I mean, yeah, we can attack Karn here, but we're still like in a pretty bad way, right? Check out my YouTube channel, Strong Falcon. There are lots of great deck lists up there, including a Mecha Titan list. We gotta smash this. Too much dog. Thanks for the 32 months. Welcome back.
I do not feel pain.
I think we just Lion Sash here. I can grow up a little bit next turn, hopefully pressure the card off the table. You can engineer your Skysovereign. Not only did it get exiled, but read Goblin Engineer to understand why your line is not correct.
Evil cannot withstand a righteous.
Oh my gosh, I can't activate it. It's an artifact creature. Oh, man. Well, so far, my assumption that our deck's gonna feel real clunky and awkward against anybody interacting with us is coming very true. All right. Now, we did big brain and cut. How is that any different compared to the all-in combo? Well, the blue versions of this deck, Kelvin, play the land that lets them turn these into creatures, and it plays Tezzeret that lets them turn this into creature that beat a Karn. The other builds play a bunch of copies of these. You can just play a fair game and cast it as well. I don't think we can afford to play the land in this build with this 3-color mana base. I looked at it, and I thought about the mana base is the one thing I thought about. I didn't really adjust your spells, but I thought about the mana base. Your mana base just can't really afford to play that effect. Faithless Looting was as awkward as I expected it to be there. I'm going to trim a couple of those. Portable? Actually, Portable Hull's pretty bad here, right? Maybe we leave in a couple for the purpose of sacrificing on occasion. I feel like we want like a minimum number of 1-mana artifacts to throw away. Damping Sphere doesn't really have text, right? I'll leave in another hole as a 1-mana spell. You know, it was fun. I played full solo queue. We played some Gardevoir. We played some Aegislash. We played some Slowbro. Had some great games. Spartan, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. Oh, Glass Casket should have come out. His hand just doesn't do anything, right? I don't have good ways to get this into the bin. Yes, we're keeping this. Desperately needs to draw an artifact or a red source. I have not published a tier list with Aegis yet, but I intend to put it somewhere in the B category. B for solos, probably C for 5 stacks. Yeah, we could synth into Thoughtseize. We could also synth into Engineer. It's probably synth into Engineer. This is basically an entomb for our vehicle, chat. It cannot return it to play, only gets back things that cost 3 or less. And now I have a bunch of 1/2s for 2. All right, that's a good draw. And the other downside here, though, is that I only have the 1 Parhelion in this build. So now the best thing we could do is like Azika's Chariot or the other thing. So we're gonna have a pretty hard time closing things out here at this point. All right, I guess we get rid of Ugin. Mr. Ben and Watch, thanks for the 19 months. Welcome back. Double synthesizers are going to grind a little bit for us. Yeah, we should play some Big Red at some point. Okay. Let's lead on this and see what we had. I'd kind of like to find a land. They have another Solemn in their hand if they want it. They do not. Oh, we're angering my friends. That actually works out really well for us. Now, here's the problem though, right? Without like a Urza or something to consistent, Urza, Tezzeret to consistent loot with, this comes back to my hand now. And now my Greasefang doesn't really do anything, right? It's just like, was a 4/3 for 4? So the half a year wheelot is. At the risk of what I'm saying, encouraging you to stop watching my content, if you're someone that's ever expecting Arena to be more than what it currently is, you should probably just go do something else. I think if you could enjoy Arena for what it is currently, and there's plenty to enjoy, it's great, but I don't really expect big investments or changes in this application. In other card game news of things that could be sweet, the upcoming new Pokemon client is going into closed beta at the end of this month, or next week, it's the 22nd, they said. You're a card game junkie like me who tries most other things. Yeah, you were promised to talk about the arena economy, but you weren't promised when that talk was going to happen. Yeah, it's a closed beta, hint. That's what closed means. It's not available to everybody. We're holding on to this because of Faithless Looting. Although we're just dead at this point, right? That. We're gonna play a minimum of 3 matches with this deck to see if we can get what it has, what it's trying to do, get going. But that match kind of really highlighted start to finish my concerns with this build versus the other less toolboxy builds, which is our fallback plan when our opponent had an interaction for us was basically non-existent. Should we expect Pioneer? 100%. New formats and things that directly generate revenue will definitely come to Arena. Pioneer on Arena isn't an if, it's a when. Modern on Arena isn't an if, it's a when. For people that don't know your Magic software history, Magic the Gathering Online started the exact same way Arena did. It was a standard-only application that slowly backfilled Magic's catalog of cards, and Arena's gonna follow the exact same path. Putting more cards into Arena makes them a lot of money. If you're wondering what decks I have played, I pretty much only play Magic Arena on stream. You can check out the YouTube channel there for things that we've played already this season. So, like, again, talking about our fun ofs in this deck, like, this hand has lands and spells that those lands cast, but my hand also doesn't really do anything, right? Hopefully they're playing something slow enough that Bankbuster's gonna get going. They're Luras, so they could be Auras, which is gonna be tough for our hand, but if there's something like Red-Black Arcanist, we have a shot. Okay, there's something we don't mind discarding to Faithless Looting. Okay, let's just go ahead and looting and try and high roll the other idiot. Yeah, it would actually be very easy and quick to get a bunch of Pioneer staples onto Arena because a lot of them aren't that complicated designs. They just have to figure out how to get those staples onto the platform while also maximizing profits while doing so. Wild. This card seems really good in their archetype. For 1 or more artifacts, leave the battlefield during your turn. Only on our turn, we get a 1/1 artifact token. Cute. I think we're just flashing back looting here, though, right? None of my cards in hand play to the board at the moment, and they're getting priority because of saviors. So. Slayer's Bounty can potentially turn into a removal spell, so we're going to hold on to that for the time being. I'm just not going to have time to Bankbuster, so I'm going to ditch that one here. Slayer's Bounty's draft cards have a bunch of things that are like removal and pseudo-removal. A lot of reasonable ones in here. The question is going to be, Can we meaningfully impact the board before they run us down? They're about to grow their board very large. Aura enters the battlefield under your control. If you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value. Yep. So they're gonna hit us for 7 and draw 2 cards. And then, like, is it clickbait when I see people making YouTube vids saying, is Kamigawa the new Eldraine? Yeah. Okay. As far as good draws go, that's towards the top. I have mixed feelings on content creators that make stuff like that. Because, like, on one side, I understand the hustle and you gotta eat. But on the other side, it makes me sad that, like, my content will never be successful on YouTube. Because I just can't bring myself to make shit like that. Feels so scummy. Informative, descriptive content does not do well on YouTube. In the gaming space, especially. Yikes! I just have another one. The best way to ensure your deck built around an idea can be good when it doesn't draw its key card is make sure the average card quality in your deck is high. I don't know what Ishin 2 Heavens as 1 does, so can't say that I've thought about building around it. It doubles attack triggers. That sounds like a bad win more card. Normally, if you're getting attack triggers, you're probably winning the game. Yeah, it's probably an okay 100 card. 100 card. All right. We have found our way into some interaction here. Come seal away, come seal away, come seal away with me. Do 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 do. Hey chat, we tried. venturing into the dungeon is something we're definitely going to revisit sometime soon in Alchemy when time permits. It doesn't really have new cards that it wants to play, but it's one of my favorite things. We're going to do another blessing here. I'm not dead yet. Always, Rufio. Always. And unfortunately here, I don't have an untapped land to get my Greasefang into play this turn. What's the stat line on Ishin? Can someone pull up the full text of that card in chat for me? It's only 3 mana. That might be okay. In fact, the fact that it's 3 mana is a big deal. Grinding with Chariot doesn't seem particularly good. Damping Sphere is not useful here. Bankbuster is slow. I want this Deccan Stone. We could technically cast Chariot off of Spire and Forsaken Crossroads. But no, we're largely using this to fiddle better into or return with Greasefang, chat. I don't think we're winning a fair game with Nettlecist. Trim a Smith. Oh, wow. Wow, chat. All right. We're gonna make some changes to this deck after this because this is not okay. I really need to double check people's math, chat. The floor on hits for this card is like 22, probably 24, like 16. Good golly. People hate having their Magic cards have text boxes, chat. Good lord. 16 hits were 30% to miss. 20 is 80%. 24 is 88%. Yeah, I honestly think, like, in order to make that card good, I think you need a less than 10% fail rate in order for this card to be playable. That means you need 27 or 28. So this card's just not good if it's not hitting. Huh. I guess Ratchet Bomb's actually a little awkward with all of our permanents, huh? Ratchet Bomb is huge weight that's legal in this format vibes, and I'm all for it, chat. I'm all about the Ratchet Bombs. Ratchet Bomb got me my first top 8 at a major Magic tournament a decade ago. Ratchet Bomb is a decade old. It is, yeah. April 2012 was the first time I top 8'd a Magic tournament. A big one, at least. This might be wrong to grab. I mean, I'm supposed to grab something that this can flip into play. Might be right, just like grab Glass Casket there. Hey, thanks for the sub gifts review. Oh, I think we might venture today, actually. I have a reality chip deck I need to build at some point, but that's my only other alchemy submission. I think I'm gonna build that for tomorrow. Ratchet Bomb was budget engineered explosives. Yeah, it did a good job of that. Wasn't strictly worse, just different. All right, we got paid off, friends. Sounds good. Well, we're gonna do it as our second deck today, Rufio. Are there any new cards that the Abzan Venture deck wants, chat? What do we think? And we'll use the anvil here to sack this before it goes back to our hands. Nah, I'm not building a Mardu deck. I don't know that you even have space for the channel lands. The mana base in the 3-color deck is pretty tight. Need to look at what the mana base looks like. Yeah, maybe some Wanderer. I could see that. Just a pretty good, generically good card. Yeah, I really like Kaido. You can find a blue-black tempo deck up on the YouTube channel. We're gonna play some more of that at some point too. Probably next week at this point. So we're gonna play Ventures today and then a reality chip deck tomorrow. Yeah, I would be surprised if they released another historic anthology in a post alchemy drops world. We know for a fact we're getting an alchemy drop next month. Alright, so they're dead. This deck is really good when you get to do the Greasefang Parhelion thing. The big question in my mind is all this fiddle bending and goblin engineering better than just playing 4 of this card? We definitely get to feel smarter while we play this build. Got a lot of toolboxy stuff. Our brains are large. Yeah, red-black sack with the anvil is something I want to try in alchemy at some point. There's a good number of decks I'm looking to try. We're gonna tease them out over a slow drip. My plan is to do 1 historic and 1 alchemy deck every day. We should have interesting things to poke at for the next month or so, and then we'll get a new alchemy card drop, and then we'll have even more things to poke at. we just get the Slayer's bounty going here so that way we can draft something from its spellbook ASAP? Chat, I've gotten soft in my old age. I can't play card games for 12 hours anymore. My brain is toast after like 5. I was feeling it a bit at the end of Runeterra yesterday. Alright, we stick this in a portable hole. I think we're gonna sack this and hopefully find something that can get rid of this. What's going on, damn wing? Ugh. Does have a bunch of protection mana up? I think I'm gonna take Fairgrounds Warden here because it plays around Spell Pierce. I think I'm just not 21 anymore, Kyle. The world in and of itself is definitely more exhausting, though. I think we can be afforded to thought seizing at this point. Does Eiganjo count as white when its channel effect is used? No, its lands are colorless unless they state otherwise. Now we're gonna play Abzan with Magus. I think Abzan is better. Eliwick's a really good card. The green legend who makes a wolf is fine. Eliwick's the real big draw, I think. Even if we find another piece of interaction here, there's just an incredible chance that my opponent has a piece of anti-interaction. I don't think it's a coincidence that we won the game where we happened into Parhelion early and these other games feel like a struggle. Great. Oh man, do they have nothing? Nothing is so good for us, chat. Big fan of nothing. Yeah, their interaction must be spell pierce. They had priority when we were playing Synthesizer. The problem here is we're not going to be able to run back killing the Core Spirit Dancer with interaction, most likely. Because it likely gets bigger than 6 toughness. You can also just have Heliod's punishment here. If they pass the turn, that's great for us. Yeah, looks like they're thinking about drawing Luris. Yep. Yep. Should we just make angels? I mean, we're going to make angels. I needed to find a way to get rid of this, though. Like that was more important. Like this is unblockable at the moment. So like if they end the turn, if we end our turn with that and play for the opponent, I don't think we can win, right? Probably good now. Here in my car, I feel safest of all, 'cause it's a Parhelion that comes with some angels. Do. What's going on, Cousin Vin? Thanks for the 50 months. It's a long time. Appreciate you sticking around. Happy Wednesday. This interaction really highlights why Magic's non-rotating formats are popular. And honestly, it makes me a little sad to think about how Wizards has like aggressively monetized these non-rotating formats. Like, I miss the pre-Modern Horizons non-rotating Magic formats. Like, these formats used to all be about these interactions between cards that like were just released sets apart, but then they're really powerful together, but they were never designed with each other in mind. And the fact that like modern, and honestly even historic, right, is a bunch of Modern Horizons cards that are really pushed at its core. I feel like Magic's non-rotating formats lost a little bit of their sense of identity, the thing that made them really powerful. Yeah, honestly, I think that's part of what makes Pioneer so interesting and why I hope it gets on Arena sometime soon. Is Pioneer is the last format of Magic that is that still, right? Because there's no direct to Pioneer stuff yet, I guess. I guess maybe it's coming. As of yet, it hasn't happened. All right, this is turn 2 Engineer, turn 3 Okiba boss. I don't know what those cards do, so I'm going to say no, Darth. This is my turn 3 Parhelion attack. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I mean, Pioneer Master is not happening on Magic Arena, but Pioneer is definitely coming to the platform. You are definitely going to have Pioneer in Arena. Probably going to have Modern too at some point. Oh, I forgot to cut the Smiths. I'm gonna board them out now because this card should not be in our deck. Deck has 19 artifacts in it, which is like 5 too few for this. Spyglass stop vehicles recurring. It does, but it's symmetrical. Does what make historic irrelevant? I don't understand your comment, Substantial. There 4/4 here. 19 artifacts is 80%. Is that unreasonable? Do you think having your card 20% of the time be a 1/1 that kind of grows up, is that unreasonable? My answer would be yes. I think having your card be awful 20% of the time is it being awful too often. We also, like, if you just kind of think about, like, what is the Smith doing in this deck? A lot of the time, we don't really want to draw a lot of these artifacts, right? Like, a lot of them are tutors that we want to be searching up. Why would Pioneer and eventually Modern on Arena make Historic irrelevant? Can you explain? Because I don't understand your position. Historic's a different format than Pioneer and Modern. They're not the same thing. Born in Faith Princess, thanks for the tier 2. Thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Okay. It's a land or a spell. I think this is a land. You know, that's actually more than I was expecting. Counting Alchemy changed cards, Historic already has 708 cards not legal in Pioneer. How many cards are in Historic that aren't legal in Modern? I know some amount of those exist. Well, so one, having more formats to play in general is great, and two, I don't really know that Pioneer would even be considered that well established. Correct. Modern Horizons cards are not legal in Pioneer. Jumpstart cards aren't legal in Pioneer or Modern. Allosaurus, Shepherd, and Muxus being two key callouts from those sets. I mean, Legacy has direct to set supplements in it. All of the Horizons cards are legal in Legacy. So that comment doesn't really make sense to me. My Parhelion is gone, right? I only have one. So we're dead. I could, like, Fiddlebender into a Wishclaw, get my Obukai gang, but even, I just can't, like, I don't have a thing to get with it, right? Like, they have infinite creatures, then we're gonna die in the air. I needed blockers. Like, this thing flies, chat. Right? Do we have any outs here? This thing flies. Yeah, I guess we can kill it with the land. Okay. So let's go get an Azeka's Chariot here. Yeah. So they get to Shepherd save something here. I don't have any 2-drops that do anything, right? I guess I can get Lion Sash, but that gives them a 3/2 back. And this Faithless Looting, it doesn't do anything. These might as well be textless. What does Wishclaw Talisman do? Explain your line. Anvil's not very good. In order to use the Fiddlebender, I have to give them a 3/2. Chat, if I sacrifice this, the Sun Gold Sentinel is going to exile the Chariot from my graveyard. Yeah, or is it a flying creature? All right, that's fine. We're gonna give him 3. The only having a single Parhelion has been super awkward in a number of these games. Could we? We're gonna cut these Smiths, and I think adding at a minimum a second Parhelion. Yeah, I think I want a second at a minimum. Protopunk Girl, thanks for the 2-month resub. Welcome back. Like the idea of spinning our tires in a vehicle deck. It is on flavor. Savor the flavor. Ether Sphere Harvester, awful. Yeah, I think so. This is so awkward. So I need 5 mana to Wishclaw Looting Okiba in the same turn. Yeah, my current experience playing this in the Esper version, I'm inclined to agree with you, Red Pandas. The toolbox feels more cute than good. See, like this, you just want to be able to do this more frequently. Like, I could just draw the Parhelion. Yeah, Greasefang into boat is great, and we want to just be able to do that more consistently. Doing this is pretty cracked. I want to do more of this, not less of it. Catch you later, Rufio. Thanks for the sub gifts. I hope everything works out for the pup. All right, we've played 3 matches, full cute toolbox deck. The card value engine. We don't have a value engine. We've been like lucking into Faithless Lootings. Like we can still play Faithless Looting. I want more. The part of this deck that does not seem particularly good is this whole Fiddle Bender package seems really aggressively mediocre. Yeah, Faithless Looting is still good card selection. Let's just put a bunch of copies of the good card in my deck. Synthesizer and Slayer's Bounty have seemed fine for things to do with Goblin Engineer when we're not binning this. And like looping both of these seems fine. Maybe an extra boat. I like that Synthesizer helps us see cards. I think having that with this seems good, and two more of these seems fine. What if we put some Seasoned Boys in here? It's like another good card that puts these things into the bin. It could be right to play a second Consul Flagship too. And 23 lands, probably right. Do I want to play things like Thoughtseize? Probably not, honestly. If I cut the actual factual black cards, I could fit in a couple of the... We could play a couple of Mech Hangars in the mana base more cleanly. These turn on our things. Spire of Industry has felt real mediocre. Yeah, Mech Hangar is a black source for this because that's the pilot. Yeah, Ichor Wellspring's not a bad idea. Is Ichor Wellspring just better than this? I guess this can sacrifice itself, which has some value. Wellspring's less good if you don't have Engineer out. This 22 lands probably want at least one more. We have plenty of discard, chat. I think 4 Pyromancers and 4 Looting is plenty. Like, when do I want a Maze Mind Tome? Probably never. Sorcerous Spyglass is probably fine. Ratchet Bomb's probably fine. I think I want, like, one more land here. Probably just play another Mech Hangar even. Yeah, Lion Sash might not even be that good, honestly. If I want a piece of graveyard hate, Lantern sounds better, right? We'll play a couple of those, and then the last land tier is our last card. All right, and then for sideboard, I'm going to put another couple of soul guides in. For the mirror and Phoenix, leave one cage in, I think. Otherwise, soul guides. Honestly, I don't even know what else we really want to do here. What about a couple of planeswalkers for the grindier matchups? Is Torch of Defiance just the best one? It's probably just TOD, right? I have 3 rip aparts. I guess Abrade is better than rip apart in exactly the mirror. I got a bunch of soul guide lanterns too, though. We'll do 2 Abrade, 2 rip apart. All right, let's play a couple like this, and then we're gonna slide along to some alchemy. Nah, Karn's not really good unless you're able to search things out of your sideboard consistently with it, I don't think. We're gonna play some Abzan venture into the dungeon, Cody. Blood Fountain's a cute idea. I've seen some other people playing that in Artifacts Energy decks. Could see that being okay. Well, that's definitely a spell this game. It's the big red opponent? No. No 3rd land. Sounds great for us. Smell that shit? It's the smell of desperation in the morning. They're blue-red Phoenix. Yikes. Driving in my car, beep beep. Hope no one wrecks into me. Are we done here? My friend. Is this a Damping Sphere matchup? This might be a Damping Sphere matchup, huh? I need to board out 7 cards. Casket's slow. I think I want a couple of portable holes, but not all of them. What if we trim some Faithless Looting, say I'm bringing in a Grafdigger's Cage? We're bringing in a lot of disruption, so I think we can afford to slow ourselves down a little bit. We still have Pyromancer to get these into the bin. Let's try this. I think I want to cut, because the Synthesizer tokens don't block meaningfully in this matchup, I think I want to cut Synthesizer before the Ichor Wellsprings. Hey, Negative, thank you for the 36 months. Welcome back. Yes, the vehicles are only artifacts from the return from the graveyard, so it does not interact with our Greasefang. The originally submitted mana base for this deck had Fabled Passages instead of Crossroads, and we added Crossroads for a reason. Looking real good here. Forklift TV, thank you for the 28 months. Welcome back. Yeah, Untap should be displaying the latest deck list. So with Damping Sphere in play, they need what? 6 lands to cast 3 spells in a turn? Crackling Drake is one of their best cards they could have in a spot like this. It's very, very good. This card is a big part of why the Phoenix deck is so good. It's just super powerful against all of the cards that are hate cards against the rest of the Phoenix deck. And Damping Sphere is symmetrical, so it's going to be slowing us down here too. Crackling Drake notably counts cards in exile for its power boost as well. Good chance we just die next turn, right? We'll eventually see fetches in standard. I don't even know that that's a certainty, Varamis. There's a good chance they only ever reprint those through supplemental sets moving forward. Be happy with how we boarded. Let's see to have our interaction line up a little bit better. End of March we'll get the direct alchemy stuff. They very explicitly did not include fetch lands in... They explicitly did not include fetch lands inside of... What's it called? Inside of Pioneer. So, like, they'd have to print them and then ban them right away. In order to have them in what's it called? Well, so the thing about the people suggesting we play black cards in our deck, I'd encourage you to look at the mana base. We don't really have that much black mana. Phases and step missing bottom right. Show phases. I didn't have the checkbox on. It's a setting. Yeah, normally I have that enabled. The patch must have turned it off. Yes, completely agree with that, Coder. Rather than putting fetch lands into Historic, I would much prefer they simply finish out the cycles that we already have. Oh, oops. Obviously sequenced this in the wrong order. Drop a Soul Guide Lantern in the bin. In case we need to turn off Delirium. So I think this is a Sack Slayer's bounty to Goblin Engineer. Hopefully pick up a removal spell for Drake or Sprite Dragon here. Can we end step, reanimate Parhelion, and crit? Nope. You can, however, take a second to read Goblin Engineer. That would be allowed. Reading is busted, chat. Rudely implying Twitch chat can read. I apologize. You're right. That's very wrong of me. Much like the mini-map in Unite, a card's text box is a free feature. Accurate. So there's a good chance we're dead. Silly crackling Drake. I Like, I want to kill Sprite Dragon, not Drake, right? We're dead to them having any non-creature spell next turn, and they get 5 looks at it. They get 2 Surveils, a Scry, a draw to draw. Oh, right. The Surveils just put them in the bin, right? No, we're in there. I guess I get to draw a card, but I don't think we have any draws here. Ah! It's always the next card. Ooh, that's a good thought. If I would have drawn with the Soul Guide and we hit there, we would have just gotten the Parhelion into play, right? Yeah, we actually win that game if I draw before playing the removal spell, huh? Well, we likely win. They could have had a removal spell to kill us. But we wouldn't have been dead. Well, and so like after I draw, I could still play the removal spell, right? And hope that they don't have it if I miss. But you're super right, Alert. I should just draw for the Greasefang there before we cast our spell on our turn. And then when we hit the Greasefang, they surveilled an Unholy Heat. They didn't have Delirium though. They didn't have Delirium because we were interacting with their graveyard with the Lantern. It's a good catch. We were playing to try. We made a crucial mistake, chat. We were playing to be interactive in a game of Historic, and we should have been minimizing and maximizing our ability to be linear and run people down. What a grave error. We have but ourselves to blame. Okay, I'm gonna keep this hand. We're gonna scry into a Parhelion or something, and we'll ditch it with this, and I'll bring it back on turn 4. You don't know what to play in Alchemy. 2-time open winner with Gruul, Todd, Turkey. Gruul aggro is literally the best deck in Alchemy. It's literally the best deck. Go smork some people. Imagine having the audacity to learn lessons and reflect on your own choices in 2022. You're right. I should have just blamed the shuffler. We were very unlucky. If you want something that's still aggressive but slightly feels smarty, Todd, I think Red-Black Vampires is also pretty reasonable. I'd probably just scroll people if I was trying to win. think one of these triomes is probably a land. The other is probably a spell. Is Smorking an option this weekend? Yeah, the girl deck's really good, Beetle. It plays like Halana and Elena and Town Racer Tyrants, that just like all the good wolves. When you get to Sideboard and Brittle Blast is the best piece of interaction in the format. Boat. Cue the foghorn. Yes, Grawl, no new cards. We're not looting to look for Parhelion. Nah, I don't think so. I think I want to hold the looting so I can put the Consul Flagship back in the bin next turn. Feels pretty good. Get to the chopper! That actually sounds really tame for Legacy, all things considered, Captain. Here in my car, I feel safe in my car, 'cause it's not a Nissan, it's a Parhelion, my car. My car. Oh, the opponent had the Fatal Push and flubbed the time. Oh wait, they couldn't make mana for it. Oh wait, no, they had the treasure. Yeah, they just messed up the timing. Brutal. And opponent could have won that. Could have not died. I don't know if they could have won, but they could have not died. Well, they could have killed the Greasefang before we got to combat. If they had their stop set properly. The release of Greasefang has shot up Parhelion to an all-time high of 7 cents in paper. God, just madness. Madness, I tell you. Slayer bounty's not very good here. Alright, let's do that. Does Arena put a stop before combat? It depends on the card. I don't know if that one is one that gives you an automatic stop. That is true. I did once tell someone hard enough that they got themselves DQ'd. Oh, Legacy. Man, that's a story I haven't thought about in a while. Bakasin, thanks for the 26 months. Welcome back. This was back like when Modern was brand new. When Modern was first created as a format, there were a lot of old school grinders that were very anti-modern, and they talked about how it was no skill and all variants, and other formats like Legacy had a lot more skill expression in them. And I always pushed back on that. And this grinder was like complaining about losing out day one in a Modern tournament. And I also lost day one in that Modern tournament, but I was like, nah, there's always things you can learn, and Modern's not any worse than the other formats. And then, like, you couldn't script it better. Like, it couldn't have been on TV. It would have been exactly the same. Round one the next day, we get paired in a Legacy tournament after getting into it on Twitter about other formats being more skill testing than Modern. And round one of the Legacy tournament, I'm playing the all-in Blood Moon Big Red deck. And if I recall, in the third game, I killed them through turn one Force and Will, which was just chef's kiss perfect. Just like talking about how Legacy's this big brain, high skill endeavor. I was like, derp, derp, Blood Moon, kill you. Oh, Legacy. Chat, Legacy, if you've never played it before, I describe it as the Bob Ross Magic format. It's where all of Magic's happy little accidents go to have a home. Are you a design mistake? If yes, you probably see play in Legacy. I don't think I want to discard the Grafdigger's Cage here, but I do think I want to wait to play it till after I flash back Faithless Looting. Yeah. There are 26 months, Buckison. Welcome back. Alright, so let's flashback looting, and then we'll go land Cage here, I think is my plan. What did they do to get DQ'd? They slammed the table hard enough, it flipped cards over to the matches on either side of us. Listen, chat. In their defense, Legacy, what I did to them was bullshit. In my opinion, what occurred should not have been something that occurs. But Legacy is a format that's full of high variance bullshit like that. So, like, you know. Unfortunately, they are... Oh god, they have Fatal Push? Oh no! Don't interact with me. Brutal. Yikes. I think I need cards, right? So we're gonna ditch an Ichor Wellspring here. No, the daily deck digest is still actively maintained. That's why I haven't posted a video on it in over a month. Come on, Twitch chat. Come on, use your brains. I believe in you. You're big smart Magic the Gathering players. Ichor Wellspring 2, the Electric Boogaloo. Nah, it's probably just Ratchet Bomb, right? Maybe I just grab Portable Hole? Ratchet Bomb's gonna take a second to charge up, right? I'm gonna grab Portable Hole so we can deal with this squirrel. The Ulamog fetch story is a dirty one. The Ulamog fetch story makes me happy that digital magic exists because having to understand the rules and get people as a competitive edge is something that's not great. The Ulamog fetch story. This is peak scummy grinder using the rules to gain an edge over someone that doesn't understand the rules, chat. So Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger says when you cast it, you get to exile two target permanents in play. I was playing a match of Magic, and my opponent goes, cast Ulamog, and they hold it out like it's on the stack, and they say nothing. And Ulamog is a cast trigger, so when you cast it, you put the trigger on the stack and you announce the things that you're exiling. They say cast Ulamog with nothing else. I give a 5 count in my head, giving them ample time to say their trigger's going on the stack. At which point, I ask them, may I crack my fetch land? And they say yes. I crack my fetch land. I go into my deck. I get my land. I tap my lands. I cast Disdainful Stroke targeting Ulamog. At which point, my opponent says, okay, that's fine. I'm going to exile these 2 cards on your board. And I was like, well, you passed priority without putting your trigger on the stack. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, I asked if I could crack a fetch land, and I cracked my fetch land, and then I cast my spell. I've like taken 2 game actions, and you don't get your trigger anymore now. Because that's how Magic works. There are no mandatory triggers in paper Magic. If you don't announce your trigger, it doesn't happen regardless of if the card says may. And when the head judge came over, we explained the situation, and the judge was like, well, the judge kind of implied that I could have rushed them. And I was like, well, I explicitly asked for permission to crack my fetch land, and then I cast my Disdainful Stroke. So if you're letting them put their trigger on the stack after the fact, you're giving them a competitive game advantage because you're letting them choose their targets knowing that their spell is getting countered when I gave them ample time to put their trigger on. And you could see the head judge when I explained it that way be like, yeah, you're technically right. I can't give them a game edge giving them this extra information to make their decision with when you explicitly asked if you were allowed to progress the game state. They were not happy I won that game. Yeah, I mean, like I knew what I was doing. We were full grinder scum, chat. We knew what we were doing. We counted, and then asked if we could crack a fetch. It was calculated. And for what it's worth, and a lot of people don't know this, did you know if you're playing competitive REL Magic, you're supposed to be familiar with trigger procedures like that and the IPG? You're not supposed to go in having things like that be a surprise. You're supposed to be familiar with all of those rules. Full grinder scum is an accurate descriptor of that back and forth. What is the IPG? Infractions Procedure Guide. It's a rules document that dictates how tournament magic is expected to handle things. Yeah, the onus is on the player to and again, like, that story that I just told, that didn't occur at Friday Night Magic. That occurred at a competitive REL tournament that I paid a $60 entry fee to play in, that I drove 4 hours to get to, that we paid for hotels for the weekend. Like, there was a lot invested there. It was still full grinder scum, even if we did it by the rules and we knew the rules and we got one over on them. But yeah, different days, different times, champ. Much happier playing games for fun on the old arena. This archetype. People asking, how do we feel about this versus Esper? Well, we only played 2 matches with this configuration. And I definitely think not having the cute bunch of one-ofs on the original build that we had is probably better. Like that last game, for example, we explicitly only won because we had multiple Parhelions, right? Now, one thing I'm not sure, I've got in my deck list loaded up here, where is it? Mad Cars, chat. What an excellent deck name. So this is a deck list that someone else had posted that they were working on that is a red-black core with a small white splash as opposed to red-white with a black splash. And this has like a madness package in it. So I want to try this at some point too, but I think having a backup plan like this is probably better than being mostly all in on putting vehicles into play, but it's definitely something you need to dork around a little bit to figure out. This build didn't feel bad. The Goblin Engineer being in tomb for Parhelion and also being able to grind a little bit of value with these 8 cards seems very reasonable. All right, let's play some alchemy for